right. So this is kind of a follow-up to the last one I did on leaders moving, like leaders lead. And it's funny because I do these Bob thoughts and then they're kind of like long form and then it like succinks in my head over the next 3, 4 days. And like I just did a TikTok on leadership and I was like, man, that was so nice. Like 60 seconds, got it all in. So I appreciate those of you that hang on my thoughts, hang around and listen to them rambling. So this came after that. These are kind of a follow up thought. I think a lot of times leaders start out with a vision, they accomplish something, they don't have any more vision, and now instead of vision, they're operating off of memory. Uh, in business, we see this a lot with companies. They have this drive, this whatever. They start their company. We'll use Blockbuster Video, just so that no one gets too too freaky deaky about who I'm talking about or what I'm talking about. Blockbuster, amazing vision, go for it. You know, I don't know if you've seen the documentary. It's great, right? There was literally Americana at one point. It literally was. And what happened is that the leadership accomplished their vision and had nowhere to go. So then all they had to operate with was the memory of when it was amazing, even though it was going downhill. And it took years for it to finally die. Years. Why? Because it was so big and so massive. And for years, they just lived on this memory. The vision became, let's recapture what we had. Let's recapture it. Remember when. Let's do this program. Let's do this marketing campaign. Let's do this promotional uh, uh, discount in order to recapture what their memory told them was still possible. They didn't have a vision for the future. They didn't have a vision that went beyond what they had accomplished. We can apply that to a lot of things. And that's what I've found over the last few days. Man, I applied it to church in a minute and ministries in a minute. Like right away, I was like, oh my gosh, there's so many pastors, and not just pastors, but churches that remember the grand old days. And they go through pastor after pastor or elder after elder or whatever, trying to find somebody who can bring back the good old days. It happened in my life. I remember I was at a camp. We I was working with a really great leader. He had a good vision. We meshed really well. We were tracking along, and then in the name of it was, was it as big as it once was? No. Were we heading in the right direction? Yes. And then the board inserted leadership over the top of us, and all they had was the memory of back in the 80s when, church camp was all the rage. And everybody went to church camp, and that's what they wanted to recreate. And I was like, nope, peace, I'm out. Because I couldn't go back to that. I couldn't be part of a memory system. I didn't know how to articulate it at the time, but that's really what it was. It was like, no, what you're asking for doesn't exist anymore. It can't exist anymore. We need to move forward. We are moving forward. We actually have a really good plan going. Nope. We're going back to the good old days. Oh, and now the camp is, sold and belongs to somebody else. But yeah, churches do it all the time. They live off the memory. Ministries, conference centers, right? How many conference centers can't get out of the cycle of the same conference speakers over and over and over again because they remember. Remember when this guy came? Remember when this girl came? It was huge. Everybody showed up. Everybody loves this person. Yeah, but we can't get 100 people in here right now. Like, they don't draw like they used to. Yeah, but I like them. I remember. Let's bring them back. It's like, come on. Get a vision. Lead. Stop living off the memory. Stop living off the memory. And then because they want the memory, they just start grasping at straws. Programs, marketing, promotions, whatever, coupons. It's sad. Businesses do it all the time. Innovative, visionary businesses seem to be able to morph. We could go through things like, Sears, J.C. Penney. Honestly, right now, what is it? I think Best Buy is struggling right now because they kind of lost their way. They expanded in directions for the mere sake of money, and they lost vision. It happens. It happens a lot. So if we're going to be good leaders, for if and I'm speaking to myself as well, then we have to keep at some level we have to keep an eye on what's coming, and we have to be willing to go there in order to in order to keep what we have. Like, what isn't moving is dying, I guess, is another way of putting it. If you're not moving, you're dying. And that's true even with like relationships. I tell people all the time, every relationship is a living, breathing organism, and when it stops moving, it's dying. You can't create a relationship and then like just create this pool where it's like maintained. It's got to have flow, or it's dying. And that's true, I think, for businesses and ministries and churches and everything. It's everything. Take the risk. People of vision take risk all the time. Not like every day, all the time, but they take the risk. And if they get it wrong on how to accomplish their vision, they just they make the adjustment and they keep on pushing. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed my thoughts today. Thanks for hanging out. Always a pleasure to be with you.